now tapped in with the Hood Mystic, your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer, your favorite mystic's favorite mystic. Time to tap in now. You are traveling with the Hood Mystic.
You are now tapped in.
Waking up the masses. It's your baby mama's favorite astrologer.
Like, can I get 5 more minutes?
Scrape that crust off that third eye and tap in with Hood in the morning. From Atlantis to Egypt, you are now tapped in with the realest nigga on the internet, the Hood Mystic. The Hood Mystic.
Could've took you to paradise, foreign trips to live very nice. Would've took you to Ocean Springs, could've bought you all kinds of things. But the world is over now, might as well come over now. Might as well let me love you down, when they get calls and the sirens sound. The problem is you won't like it, I can read your mind, I know all your secrets. They ain't tell you I'm a psychic. Say we need to make love, baby, we ain't died yet. Remember you was too busy running around, but the city's locked down. Tickets mad cheap and I booked the flight, and I'm back in town. See, the world is over now, might as well come over now. Might as well let me love you down, when they get calls and the sirens sound. The problem is you won't like it.
Peace to the family.
I know all your secrets. They ain't tell you I'm a psychic.
Hood in the morning.
See, we need to make love.
How y'all feeling out there? We ain't died yet. If you on this live, post live, you ain't died yet, so let's make some love today. Yeah. So yeah, man, here we are. Here today for another daily energy reading, and I'm not gonna hold y'all because I have a lot of information to get through. I want to talk about all of the things that have been happening, my own personal view of it. I'm not gonna call it spiritual or nothing. I'm gonna call it my personal view. Peace to everybody in the chat. Peace to everybody participating in the chat. Peace to everybody watching. Be sure to share this video, like this video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, do yourself a favor and subscribe already, right? Here we are, man. Okay, so today we're going to look at it astrologically. Then we're going to go straight into pre-colonial spirituality. And I find that pre-colonial spirituality is very important now because the contracts for which were put on this land are now up, and what is now rising is this pre-colonial energy that actually reverses manifest destiny. And now we get to manifest our own destiny. Shout out to Beyonce and Jay-Z holding it down wherever they holding it down. Hopefully you holding it down wherever you holding it down. You got your whole situation going, and positivity is flowing throughout your whole family. You understand? And let's just deal with it astrologically first, and then let's go get into the shits. I'm sure that's why people are here for. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the astrology. However, I'm going to bring up some interesting points and connecting points. And so I'm going to just put out this disclaimer. This isn't a perfect picture that I'm about to present. However, it is a picture. It is my picture. It is my artistic expression. And of course, we can tap in later. I want to hold the tap in section for people who disagree. So if you agree, try to hold in your call in. But if you disagree with what I'm saying, be sure to call in so we can find some kind of consensus, or maybe you can cuss me out for my personal beliefs and things of that nature. However you want to play it, I'm here to play it, because I want to first start this off by saying that there are particular energies within the conscious community that base their expression on their personal experience. And that is a misnomer to our actual collective experience if we deal with memory. Okay. When you deal with memory, you deal with all things good and all things splendid and all things divine and all things creation. Because when you talk about this world and the world that we are living in, it is our ancestors that have created it. So when we actually access memory, we are accessing that potential of creation. However, when we access our limited human beliefs, our particular skepticism and things of that nature, and then propagating it throughout whatever channels or airwaves, just understand that that's a limited perspective, not based in cosmic memory, and for which I reference the memory of my ancestors. I'm not referencing my personal beliefs, because my personal beliefs are skewed to, just the limited experience. However, when we speak through channel of the ancestral truth of everything being divine, right? So what am I referencing astrologically? I'm referencing astrologically, or even astronomically, right? We all can bear witness this energy as we look at it through a telescope, right? The sun being conjunct Venus along the Milky Way, and the energy of Taurus. And this is everything ancestral. So if we are able to tap in or express everything ancestral, everything cosmic, then we are centered on desire and pleasure. And the sun conjunct Venus gives this energy of love. Okay. But when we understand love, we have to understand that we are not the eyes, but we are what the eyes see. So this becomes bringing attention onto ourselves. See, this becomes the most important thing in our actual spiritual development. However, the media will put a sort of a wrench or a blockage to what's truly important. It is the desire or the attention of ourselves based upon the sun's position conjunct Venus and Taurus. So moving forward, you have the moon in Hasta, in the Hasta Nakshatra, or in the constellation of Virgo. And we want to reference the constellation of Boots, which has the alpha star of Arcturus. And these, when you reference certain astrological constellations, you also want to reference the energy below and above it for more information, more mythology. So what are we doing? We're just understanding mythology, because mythology is the memory. Okay, this is the cosmic memory encoded. So where we are limited to our particular beliefs within our mythology, we find our superpowers. We find our cosmological makeup that makes us protected, that makes us in alignment, that makes us know what it is, what's going down, what plants what seeds to plant, rather. Okay. So the moon and Hasta Nakshatra, since we are dealing with the earth sign, we're dealing with energies that manifest, skills that manifest. Okay. So this is the parable of the talents, if we want a biblical reference for this particular time. What you do with your talents is up to you. However, if you have not done any, all of the memes, right, have been circulating through social media, this is the time to begin to work on yourself. This is the time to invest in yourself. This is the time to start that business. This is the time to start that YouTube channel. This is the time to invest your skills and your talents. And even more so, I've been doing a morning tarot pull on my Instagram stories, same type of energy that I pulled. Okay. And little side note, we begin our monthly moon readings on Patreon. I have a new deck, okay, for you guys, the Alchemistic Tarot deck. I've been pulling those on my Instagram story. However, that deck will be available for the monthly moon sign readings. Get monthly moon sign readings for as little as $5 a month. Those links will be in the description. Okay, so moving forward, the parable of the talents is a story of the master leaving his property. And when he left his property, he delegated his particular wealth with his servants because it was looked upon negatively for a master to just have slaves getting nothing. So this is classism, right? And because the master is leaving his property, i.e. the CEO stepping down, you cannot walk into a government building no matter what you do. Right, there basically is no government. So now, right, this is the particular time. Do we begin to organize? Do we begin to work with each other? Do we understand energy? Do we understand dark energy as a collective? Why? Because energy is. So the people who understand that energy is actually plugging into this Arcturian energy to exploit and, of course, increase their riches through drama and trickery. And so these are one of the characteristics of the Hasta Nakshatra, especially when you're doing elective astrology, where you're trying to figure out your day, right? You're trying to figure out your day through drama and trickery, exploitation, and also to increase riches. This is another way of investing your talent, because one way of looking at it is I'm investing, I'm doing my intention, I'm planting my seed, and things are growing. But to the layman who does not understand spiritual work, it looks like you almost doing trickery, and ritual almost looks like drama. However, this is how it goes down. And of course you see how it's going down, because look at the world that we're living in, where we witnessed a ritual, right? And now the world follows suit. So we could then point fingers or be mad that the ritual is being played, or we can begin to do private rituals and public rituals in order to direct the energy, because energy is. And the reason or how we get this off is through wit and humor. Okay, wit and humor through dire circumstances. So the dire circumstances ties into the energy of Minneapolis. Minneapolis is called Minnehaha. Minnehaha is translated to laughing water. Okay, so the laughing water is a metaphor or a play on words, because generally when you look at rain, it is looked at to be somber or sad. However, within the word Minnehaha is the laughing water. So if you listen to water, and the crackling or the cackling that happens is actually laughing, or a waterfall is actually laughing, because this is our connection to spirit. So whether you're referencing the laughing Buddha, or just laughing magic in general, this is how we actually tap into the realms of spiritual thinking. So what is the blockage to the actual melanated energies to tap into the spiritual realms? They're too damn serious, right? There is no wit, there is no humor, there is no laughter, because of the positioning of media and how they're positioning their news. Let's just get this understood. There are 300 million people in this country. So the news picking and choosing what stories to cover is actually a post-colonial invention, because in pre-colonial times there was no news. Okay, there was just groups and civilizations, and they just operated within themselves. We didn't know what was going on in other particular parts until we got there, and then they told us, right? But then when we rely on this intercessory or a medium, right? A medium which ties into media, then our actual knowledge, our information, which comes from us, right? To inform, the prefix is in, right? Within, we form an opinion or a thought. However, when the media or a medium intercedes and informs you, right, of how you should feel and what you should do, then the idea then becomes corrupted or hacked. Okay, so the idea then ties into puppetry. Okay, puppetry. Are you a puppet or are you a puppet master? Because energy is, you have the ability to manipulate these particular human beings to do your bidding. And as we see, that's just what's happening, whether we like it or not. So moving forward, we have a Baron Samedi ritual, and the Baron Samedi ritual has actually been going on for a while now. And we must first start with twin energy. Okay, if you listen to the first episode of The Truth is Stranger Than Fiction with Kanye West and the Joker, right? The first thing I say, the first article, well, beyond coincidence, is that twin energies is how this thing is like basic stuff. So this actual ritual is taking place in Twin Cities. Okay, the Baron Samedi part is Dr. Manhattan. Okay, Dr. Manhattan was actually paraded around in episode 9 naked, right? So that's the sexual aspect of, peering at a black man in his glory. But then the next episode, he's actually killed. And then he's regenerated by Regina King's energy. So it's a real interesting layout, right, of the neighborhoods in Minneapolis, because there's a Regina neighborhood, and then above Regina there's a Bryant neighborhood, and then above that there is the neighborhood of Powderhorn. So Powderhorn is the neighborhood for which this whole situation went under. So just to understand, Powderhorn is the same thing as powder keg. It's an energy that holds gunpowder, and so once you ignite it, right, boom, right? And this is all ritual because this energy has been ritualized twice, thrice, and 4 times. Okay, starting from Prince, Philando Castile, what else is going down there? Just really understanding how public ritual happens might be a hard subject for you to digest. And I'm not trying to say that I'm right. I'm just trying to present a different angle to get you outside of your emotions. And if you choose to stay in your emotions, that's perfectly fine. If you want to actually think that this was a real situation that happened and the outcome was truly organic, you perfectly fine to think about that. And me, I feel like the outcome of this is right and exact however it plays out. But what I am saying is that this was a public ritual, because right down the street, there's a particular lodge called the Minnehaha Lodge. Okay. And where this actually took place was on 38th in Chicago. So 38th in Chicago ties into particular rituals, Nana Bozo, and also tied into bunnies, which I'll get into a little later. But as you see, the tattoo that the double-sided eagle, which is a Freemasonic symbol of out of order comes chaos, which is the chaos being perpetuated for which order is now trying to be inserted. But you have to understand also that this is Hegelian dialect. Hegelian dialect is when I present you with the problem, then I present you with the solution. However, if you are a mere puppet, you are just a victim of this Hegelian dialect and being on particular sides. I don't have a side on this, right? I'm just showing you what I think it is. And this is my personal opinion of things that I've been documenting hard, right? Since last summer, right? Since last summer, I've been going in on these particular subjects and these particular topics, as well as astrology. Okay. And do I think that this energy is negative? No, but there is a deeper history that people are not telling you. And that deeper link is found in the mystery between sex, death, and regeneration. So this Christ energy is now being ritualized in the wrong way, right? Because one could feel passionate and loving and ready to fight for a man that's alive in your life right now. You don't have to wait till he die to then begin to be emotionally charged. You could be emotionally charged. You could have that fervor for your man right now. Okay. You could celebrate his life while he's living. And this would be the actual way to ritualize and dramatize this energy in a positive way, as opposed to mourning over a situation that you don't know all of the details in, because this just happened recently. So as details come out, cool. But if you're not into the full details, if you're just simply reading news stories and things of that nature, then you're not fully in tune. And of course, people are going to respond and react, but these people are puppets, right? They have no choice in the matter. However, as a spiritual being, it is now time for you to lock into your tribe, to lock into your mission and begin to speak it, and begin to ritualize and begin to tap into particular ley lines and particular energies that are centered in pre-colonial energy vortexes that begin to speak to you and help you elevate. I've been visiting mounds before they were popular, and I'm not sure that they're popular now. However, when it comes to bypassing these particular energies and these particular thresholds, it is time for you to go home. Okay? So I'm just going to, before I get into this syncretism slide, I'm going to just go back here and hit on my notes. So this is, they actually burnt down a Minnehaha wine and spirits. They burnt down a police precinct. They also had George Soros paid trained rioters. And if you support Black Lives Matter, you support George Soros and his paid trained rioters. And so, of course, we should riot and we should protest, but we should also put energy into Christ as he walks, as he talks, and as he speaks, and as he lives. We do not have to worship Christ after he dies, okay? Because the reality is we died thousands of deaths. But the reality is that we're still living. So because of that, we are born again, and we deserve to be honored and praised in the waking sense. Okay, so that is just an overview of what I'm setting you up for. I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers or point fingers. I'm just, once again, speaking on my personal thought process on this. And my personal thought process is centered on syncretism. Now, syncretism is the amalgamation or the combination or the attempted combination of different religions, cultures, or schools of thoughts into one thing. Okay, so what I'm syncretizing is the energy of the Barons, the energy of Nana Bozo, the energy of Hugh Hefner, the energy of Buffy Bunnies, the energy of Freemasonic twin energy rituals. Okay, and I'm showing how these are all one thing, and I'm going for picture, so just bear with me. So this is a picture of Nana Bozo. Nana Bozo is an ancestral trickster energy that Minneapolis is named after in an indirect way. So Nana Bozo is a real energy. However, there's an actual story called the Song of Hiawatha with Hiawatha and Minnehaha. Minnehaha doesn't exist, but Hiawatha, he does exist, but not in this context. In order to change the energy around, instead of calling him Nana Bozo, the author took Nana Bozo away and called it Hiawatha. So the way that we get Minneapolis is in the term Minnehaha, and Apolis or polis, just the Greek word for city. So really what we have is Minnehaha City, or Nana Bozo City, because this is the only true energy that exists, but it was turned around and metamorphosized. So from there, in the realms of syncretism, because the same energy that would be Nanabozo in Minneapolis region, down in Haiti, in New Orleans, they would call this energy the Barons or Baron Samadi. So when you do the etymology for Las Barons and Baron Samadi, you get the same etymology of 101. So I'm going to read something to you, and then I'm trying to explain something. So I'm going to explain something to you guys, because a lot of people wasn't in the class. So the people that was in the class can bear witness that I reference this Baron card energy before any of this popped off. Okay, May 23rd, and this whole situation happened Memorial Day. Okay, so when I was referencing the wild card, I was letting the class know that I had ritualized this card, right? I put a whole altar around it. I burnt some candles for it. I charged this card with crystals. I spoke about it in multiple class occasions, right? I was really tapped into this card, but I want to show you something interesting about it, because understand that I'm a puppet master. I'm not a puppet. I will control a human being before I be listening to a human being. This is one thing that y'all have to understand about me. Y'all can look at human beings the same, but I'm an Atlantean. My descendancy is from Atlantean, and we created human beings to do our bidding, to do what we wanted. We are not human, okay? This is the reality. So when you fall into these ritual traps, you forget the side that you're actually on. So this talk is to remind you of the side that you are on. So this is taken from Maya Deren, Divine Horseman, page 107, which is an excerpt out of the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot, written by Luis Martini. Okay, so this excerpt says, it seems that many years ago, under the regime of President Borno, there suddenly appeared in the streets of Port-au-Prince a crowd of Gades. So Gades are spiritual energies, or another way would call these Las Barons, wearing the formal costume, tall top hats, long black coattails, smoked glasses, cigarettes or cigars, and canes. An enormous crowd naturally collected around them and joined them in their march to the National Palace. They all took the guards by surprise, and singing, swerved through the gates and up the drive to the door itself, where they demanded money of the president. President Borno, who was reputed to have a sympathetic to voodoo and ritual, secretly so, and yet feared the bourgeois opinion, was in a great dilemma. He finally gave in, and the Gadas with their supporters left the grounds. So in another aspect, this is what happened over this last week. People actually stormed police precincts and burnt them to the ground, stormed businesses and burnt them to the ground. Now, is this right or wrong? Who am I to say? But I'm just saying what actually happened. Okay, so I'm not saying what's right or wrong, because that's not my job in this thing. I'm just really pointing out to energies as to how we can begin to better our lives, improve our lives, understand our lives by answering the simple question: are we a puppet, or are we a puppet master? Okay, so the divination for this card, so I divined this card, the offerings for this card, I connected to this card, was extreme unexpected turn events. A sense of humor pulls one through dire circumstances. So, which is an interesting connection between this card and the Hasta Nakshatra, because the Hasta Nakshatra are saying the same things. So that is Baron Samedi, and we can come back to that if y'all want. But then out of nowhere, we got the channel, me and my wife got the channel from Hugh Hefner. and how Hugh Hefner was saying that he represents this Nana Bozo energy. And so I'm like, Hugh Hefner, hold on a second, I got to do my research. But then I started to think about it. Last night, I was walking John, right? Because to get him to go to sleep at night, we walk him in the stroller around the block, and that usually puts him out instead of him going crazy at night. Excellent solution, right? However, last night, there was a bunny, right, in like the middle of a yard, to the point where I was approaching it. And generally, when you make eye contact with a bunny or you get close to a bunny, it moves, it gets out of there. However, this ain't the first time. This is actually the second time. The first time I tried to take a picture, I looked down for 1 second, looked up, that bunny was gone. This time, I just kept my eyes on it, right? I'm just looking at it. Bruh don't flinch or nothing. It just looking at me. So I'm thinking about that. However, when I do the actual understanding of it, I'm going to just show y'all something of how crazy it is that my wife get the Hugh Hefner channel, and then I'm getting the Nana Bozo channel, and how they actually connect. So I'm going to show y'all something crazy real quick. So that's the Playboy bunny, right? And this is the Nana Bozo sigil. And y'all tell me how wild that is. Right? So, and mind you, last night, that encounter with the bunny, all right? So that's that. All right, let me throw that in a sec. We keep that there. But even more so, I was reading this article about Hugh Hefner's contribution to Dick Gregory and overall his connection to the civil rights movement, or his connection to the boule. It's all in this article right here. You can pause it, screenshot it, you can Google it, right? The article is written by Jesse Jackson in support of, you know, how great of a man Hugh Hefner was. And I don't doubt it, because I don't really sleep on energy. However, the particular people that he supported, minus Dick Gregory, he allowed Dick Gregory to be a success his entire life by giving him the opportunity that no actual melanated person was actually getting at that time. You know, and Dick Gregory is an ancestor of mine that I hold near and dear to my heart. So the contributions that Hugh Hefner did, it actually, you know, allowed for this energy to subsist or to grow. So when people transition, they come into their true selves. And so this actual Nana Bozo is Hugh Hefner, or was an aspect of Hugh Hefner, because we're dealing once again with sex, death, and regeneration. So when you think about these entities, whether you're talking about Hugh Hefner, George Floyd, Kobe Bryant even, because there's the energy of him with the young girl and having that particular charge in Colorado. Okay, so once again, you have sex, death, and regeneration through the actual bunny. So this bunny represents fertility and regeneration. And I'm referencing this because maybe you want to have more fertility. Maybe you want to increase your finances. Tap into the energy of Nana Bozo, or the energy of the Barons. Okay, there's actually, it's so funny because I talk to like this girl on Instagram. She knows who she is, and she talks about it all the time, how she has like a strong sexual relationship with Baron Samedi. So once again, sex, death, and regeneration. And then we have this story in May, the beginning of May, Cat resting, right? Where she thought it was Papa Legba, but the spiritualist who did a reading for her said, nah, that wasn't Papa Legba, that was Baron Samedi. And she ended up transitioning. So once again, we have the continuation of this particular theme, okay? And I don't want y'all to get scared or nothing. I want y'all to understand that it could work for you or work against you, depending on your particular ignorance of particular rituals being played out. This particular conversation that I'm having is to reverse the ritual. Why? Because I'm a puppet master. I'm not a puppet, right? If you a puppet, then, you know, fight for your rights and all of that shit. I got sovereignty because I'm connected. I'm connected cosmologically. And I'm connected through experience. I'm connected through confirmation. I just know who I am. Okay? So, moving forward, Hiawatha and Nana Bozo. And if this is confusing, I'm going to try to make sense of it here. So, Hiawatha and Minnehaha, these two energies don't exist. However, this is the name for Minneapolis. So, in order to flip the history, let's just read. Longfellow made two other major additions for the sake of non-indigenous audience. A romantic storyline between Hiawatha and Minnehaha, and Hiawatha's welcome of Jesuit priests and departure into the West. Okay, so they ritualized Nanabozo into a space where he wasn't this trickster, he wasn't this baron, he wasn't this sexual, dominant, masculine energy. No, he married a woman named Minnehaha, and beyond that, he accepted every Christian idea, and he taught all of his people Christian mythology and things of that nature. So, moving forward, the central earthly elements, because the sun and Venus is in Taurus, the central earthly elements of the legendary materials are made genteel for Longfellow's audience. So the sexual aspect of the ancestral central man. Y'all know what it's like to deal with a man for real. He be about that sexual, certain energies, certain Shango, Baron Samdi's energies. We about to take you to that next level, right? You about to go out of body, right? You about to be squirting all over the bed. You ain't about to get this sexual experience nowhere else, right? And I'm saying that because generally that aspect of a man is shut the fuck down. I'm not doing either, you know, in that aspect as well. I will go crazy, you know, in a good way. However, I'm cool to say that because I'm in alignment with a particular energy, right? So I'm not buying into the Christian mythology any longer. You got to move beyond it. So, and Hiawatha appears not as the devious trickster of the Nanabozo legend. So we have Nanabozo is really Hiawatha, but as a classical hero who bestows order upon his nation and prepares the way for Euro-American arrival. Hiawatha's message ameliorates white conquest, and in his death and disappearance, he, like the Indians of America, is symbolically absorbed by the West, the Christian eternity, the temporary home of removed Indians, and the ultimate goal of Euro-American manifest destiny. So the point of these rituals is to second down what this author has done previously, because now they need to retie and re-envelop and create a new mythology for these areas. And so what happened in Minneapolis, because it's a twin city, right? We'll do something in Minneapolis and then it'll begin to spread in other areas, right? And we can bear witness to that because everywhere is rioting and protesting like it's happening there. Or this situation happened there. Why? Because it's a twin reflective energy. And I haven't bought into it, but I'm sure other people have. Okay. So I said this earlier. Minneapolis is just another term for waterfall or laughing water. It is the city of laughing water, meaning that if you polarize the energy to a serious energy, then one doesn't even understand what they're here. Who personified the energy of Minneapolis was actually Prince, because he balanced that energy of humor, right? The Dave Chappelle skits, but then he would even drop serious knowledge, right? And he was an ancestral energy that existed because of he had a level of remembrance. So when you listen to his music, right? He even got a CD called Batman. I listen to it all the time, right? And that's just tapping into this Kamazat's energy. And this Kamazat's energy could be Batman, and it very well could be Baron Samedi, okay? Or the Barons. Because think about The Dark Knight and how that movie escalated, and the tumultuous energy that Gotham went through, you know, them burning down the bridges and, you know, shutting down the football fields and things of that nature, talking about Bane, right? Bane would be another syncretized version of this energy, just big, black, masculine energy, and does not care. We will free you out of jail, right? You will get out of jail, right? You will get loads of money. You will get loads of attention. You will tap into your ancestral birthright because that's just what it is. Now, if you're remembering in it, fine. This is what this video is for. So to conclude, to conclude everything that I just needed to conclude, we have the gematria of it all. So we have Nana Bozo, which equates to 96, Playboy, which equates to 96, Freemason, which equates to 96, Atlantis, which equates to 96, and Destiny, which equates to 96. Because our destiny is for us to recover our Atlantean birthright. However, these Freemasonic rituals are there to suppress the Nana Bozo energy or the Lost Baron energy. But we are fertile, we are regenerative, and you know, we get it in just like bunnies. So it's really important to not let these particular entities or energies hijack your energy any longer. Get with the symbolism, whether we talking about turtles, bunnies, right? And whatever your symbolism is. But you have to understand that you're a pre-colonial energy. And this pre-colonial energy, you can never be black. You can never be white. You could only be of the soil. Or cosmologically sound in who you are and sovereign into the fact that you are awareness, and you could be, and people can be aware of you. And how are people aware of you? By speaking your truth. Okay, so I'm sure that was interesting or not, but let's go ahead and start some instrumentals. And let me set up this tapped in. I just want to get y'all thoughts on it real quick, and I will be right back, family.
Dear driver who's never had a McDonald's Big Mac, look right.
Let me cut this music down. Goddess Sasha in the building was popping. Was really good. Let me cut you off on mute. All right, now I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. You know what is so wonderful about this? It's been showing up in many different ways. So yesterday I'm in my house and I noticed how it just seemed all too ritualistic, everything that was going on. And I noticed how there's been different celebrity scandals that have been taking place since Memorial Day. Like for instance, the thing with Doja Cat when she was caught in the
Right.
chat.
Yeah. Racial.
Supposed to be exactly. And then there was the Kim Kardashian crusade. She need to jump in because she need to get some more money for the Denochrome, which is really the androchrome, which is of the malevolent, benevolent, masculine, feminine, the twin energy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which all of us seem to have that
Mm-hmm.
within. If
Within.
bridegroom stage of self actualization and realization, right? And I also noticed how Kylie had a ritual, Kendall had a ritual, but it's always at the demise of the black male body. And I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to the different celebrities that are all tied in whenever these types of things always go down. We're so busy being focused on the aspect of everyone that is passing, and not to say that we shouldn't focus on that, but I think a lot of us are woke, but we're not conscious yet.
Right.
Because when you become conscious, you understand that there's a part of this where you are martyr or you're here to serve in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And those who are martyrs have already volunteered for this experience.
Right.
You've come back now to service in a different way. All of this is just packaged up and done differently because if we're living in a simulated reality,
Right.
this is just the next step on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you're either the master or the puppet.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point of the I think a lot of us are coming into those beginning stages of mastery
Mm-hmm.
or my sons or whatever you want to call yourself.
Right. Right.
You got to be real careful and strategic with how we word these things and how we move right about now, because those of us that truly are receiving accurately, not from a manipulated space, because there's even manipulation in spirituality.
100.
Those who think that we're just supposed to stay in the light and never succumb to the darkness. And it's like, are you crazy? You need that side of yourself throughout this whole entire time.
Mm-hmm.
We're not ever supposed to just erase one side. We need both. And especially at this time like this, because where are you going to get your order if you don't come out of the chaos yourself? Because every single one of us are navigating a different dimension of hell until you reach your consciousness, which is able to anchor that heaven on earth energy.
Facts.
I think that's something that we are missing in
Mm-hmm.
this conversation right now. And it's like we're so fired up about, yes, we have a right to be fired up about what's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
But the more we focus on that, I don't think that some people are ever going to wake up out of that construct and realize that it's really not even race, it's
Right.
energy that we're
Right.
dealing with.
Right. Right. And a lot of people can be bought at this particular juncture for whatever reason. And because of that, you don't necessarily know who you're talking to nowadays. Because certain people will tell me certain things that they do for money, and me personally, I would never do it. You can give me $1 million, and it's like I'm not going to align with my enemy under no circumstances. And
Right.
for me, I've even tried, and been shut down. You know what I'm saying? So that the actual reality is that my life is only gonna be good when I align with spiritual feminine energies, because I'm a spiritual masculine energy. And from this perspective, all things can happen. But I can understand how people don't understand that too. So that's why I'm just being patient and holding space and just waiting for people to kind of get it, that anything can happen when you have trust in your relationships, you know, and beyond that, you can't really hold on to nothing else. You can't wish for nothing else or hope anything else can come from that because you are in your creative space. Anything that happens now in my life is because me and my wife was on one accord or we were in discord, you
That's
know?
right. You know something else? My masculine, although we're one, we're connected, period. I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe in the separatism at all. And I
Right.
came to this realization today. It's just so amazing how this journey has been, because we go through so many emotions where we be ready to rip each other's heads off, cut
100.
each other off, curse each other out, just
Mm-hmm.
be on some, I'm cutting the cord to this nigga or this or
100.
whatever, because you taking me through it right now and I can feel your energy and you dragging me down.
Right.
Why you not doing your work? If you was in my face, I'd probably punch you in your throat right now. What's up with you?
That
But
part.
it came to me that the whole entire time I'm over here honoring this boy, this man, this king, this god, this emperor, and he's been helping me too. We've just been on different sides of this thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he came to me this weekend as the guy Ochosi.
Mm-hmm.
Ochosi is also Sarunos from the pagan god. I see it right there. Yeah, the bow and arrow. Lord, this is why I'm talking to you about it. This is why I'm talking to you about it. Yeah. So he came to me and I'm going to honor him, and venerate him. And it was just so amazing because I didn't realize that he's also Osiris and Osar and Cernunnos. And, just like we have the many different personalities and everything, we are many different versions of them. And it's just so beautiful. But the message has been so dumbed down
Mm-hmm.
and distorted through every different religion. And it's like we still down here in 2020
Mm-hmm.
fighting over the same bogus nonsense, not realizing that they one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we got many different feelings, thoughts, and emotions that tie us into the different experiences that we needed to traverse this plane, so did they. We are they. And if
Mm-hmm.
we only really recognize that, then we could really get something popping, because it's too much going on right now
Mm-hmm.
for those that truly claim to be conscious to be going back and forth with each other about who received information first. Like, are you serious? You still connected to lack after all that we just went through? You mean to tell me you still mad at your brother or your sister for receiving accuracy?
Mm-hmm.
And because you did too, but you want to be the one to be right.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. It's like, do y'all really want to make something happen and improve something, or is it really all for self? And you really just got rerouted on your path to your destiny and your purpose, and you didn't traverse those heart lessons the way that you thought you did. You
Mm-hmm.
made it to the top, and you're going to have to climb right back down to the bottom and start all over again in the same lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
How about not even in a different one? In this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm not trying to go there no more.
Yeah, I'm
I'm ready
done.
to do what we got to do and get the hell on, because we got something else to do after this.
Mm-hmm.
If we immortal, where we go after? What
Right.
do we do after? We leave this plane and we go on to another one and we do the same thing all over again. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, for us to still be down here talking about the same stuff, it's
Mm-hmm.
frustrating. It's beyond tiresome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm an older soul, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
just looking back at it like, are you,
Mm-hmm.
come on, not this again. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
getting played again.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all down here still like, are you serious? The mumble rap, the messages behind it, y'all can't hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you hear it and just allow it to flow in, and you think it doesn't affect you to some degree, but it actually truly does, because you haven't really done the work
Mm-hmm.
that you need to really cut the cords like you think you did.
Right.
Because we all down here are guilty of it. I'm not greater than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting for something more to come about.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's where I step in on my mission
Right.
and being here for environmentalism, because I'm here for interpersonal relationships to just improve. That's what we need first before we start blaming any
Yeah.
outside source. We got to start taking accountability and responsibility for our own internal dialogue that we have been programmed with against ourselves, because we've programmed ourselves too with some negativity.
Right.
Because it don't make no sense. Like, we still down here arguing about me being light and you being dark. Like, what's up
Mm-hmm.
with that?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, if you really understand and you really tapped in from the heart, then you know that I am you and you are me. And it makes no difference. As long as we are here for restoration, then that's that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're here to know self, but in my journey of knowing self, I've found something good that I want to share. Right. And that's just where I'm at in my journey. I think a lot of people imagine that this was my journey the whole entire time. I've actually worked to this spot. Like you said, that heart center is me perpetually giving love all the time. You know what I'm saying? Where a lot of people, they want conditional love. They want a reason. However, I'm just gonna say it straight. A young lady had asked, me a couple of days ago, like they wanted to get a gift for my wife. And what gift should I said? She don't need no goddamn gift. She need a sister to talk to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's what it's about. What fucking gift? Like, I can't even imagine, just the bonding or the truthfulness that comes with learning one another is where I'm at with it. And it didn't start this way. So that's also tying back into patience and holding space and understanding that people are subjective with their understandings, even their spirituality. But now
Yeah.
I'm objective with it and know that there's a handful of spiritual beings that have all of the power. We have all of the cards in our hands, and now it's time to play them, you know.
Yes. That's all I had to say.
No, thank you for that. I really do appreciate you calling in, Sasha, because you come with the word, and that's
Thank
just
you.
like
It's Asha.
Asha. Oh, so it's goddess Asha. Okay,
Yeah.
got it, got it.
Asha.
My
Yeah.
apology.
Thank you.
No problem. But tap in as much as you like. Hit up as much as you like, cause it's straight up divinity coming out of your pores. So
Thank you.
whenever you want to reach out and talk and build, we open.
Thank you so much. It was good talking to you.
Indeed, peace. Prime, what's good, man?
What's up, man?
Chilling
Can you hear me all right?
perfectly.
Kind of tying into what Sister Asha just said, and I caught kind of the tail end of your talk. But I was listening to the Dalai Lama this morning,
Hmm.
so I want to say I'm going to try and repeat his message. um, but before that, I'm just going to say, in talking about ancient origins or our being on this planet, one of the things that I've been doing probably since the 90s is just consciously identifying myself as an earthling, period. I'm an earthling.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, because I understand that my spiritual self isn't the same as my physical self, like my spiritual lineage might not be my physical lineage,
Hmm.
but my spiritual lineage understood the physical lineage that I had and knew that this was going to be the appropriate body for me to live out in this lifetime to do whatever I have to do. So my physical DNA lineage has to do with me accomplishing whatever spiritual mission I have to accomplish in this lifetime.
Hmm.
But I'm an earthling
Hmm.
represented or representing spirit, however you want to call
Hmm.
it. So when you started talking about Atlantean origins and stuff like that, it just kind of reminded me to get back on track with that mode of thinking,
Hmm.
because it's easy to get caught up, because I got to teach my daughter how to be cool around cops. You know what I'm saying? And I
Right.
got to teach her that because she's black. I got to remember it myself when I get pulled over, how not to be, because I'm black.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, at the same time, we also have to hold on to the fact that we're much more than how others perceive us.
Exactly.
So the Dalai Lama was, well, it wasn't. He gave this talk. I want to say it was like a day or two ago. I have to look back on the line, but basically he was given a service for Avalokiteshvara. I forgot how to say it. The deity with the 1,000 arms and
Mm-hmm.
like 11 heads. Basically, it represents full compassion for all sentient beings.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how you can't just sit and think, I'm manifesting this God's energy. You have to start from a place of zero.
Mm-hmm.
You have to meditate, drop all your attachments,
Mm-hmm.
drop your beingness, and all think, merge back into nothingness, however you want to call it. You
Mm-hmm.
got to be. You can't just manifest some God's energy like you calling a God onto the planet as yourself. It don't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
You have to become zero so that the God can work through you. And what he said to me was very important because it kind of flipped two realities. He said, in order to be of service and benefit to yourself, you have to serve and benefit others. And in order to serve and benefit others, you have to be of service and benefit to yourself. You have to be able to treat yourself right.
Correct.
But they're two different things, and
Correct.
they have to be exercised in a strict way,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't just do for people expecting they're gonna do something back. He
Right.
means like pure service. And when you do for self, you can't do for self at the cost of your humanity, your ethics, whatever, your code. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can't say, "Oh, I want $1 million. I'm gonna go
Rob a bank.
rob my neighbor or whatever." You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
then that brings badness back on me. But I can search deeper and say, okay, why do I want $1 million? So I can be feeling secure. Okay, well, how can I feel secure right now? How can I work on myself
Mm-hmm.
to be where I want to be in a good space, and then that will radiate out. You know. Anyway, man, that's
Yeah.
that's all I
Yeah.
wanted to say.
Yeah. And that's powerful because, the more that, so it's the same thing, right? You could listen to a lecture tomorrow that you heard 5 years ago, and it will have a whole different response because we're evolving as spiritual beings in the midst of this thing. So
Yes.
the deeper that we go within now, because it's not a particular race or a particular point that you can say, well, I've meditated for 7 hours and nothing happened to me, so meditation is bullshit. I've meditated for 10 years and nothing happened to me. I
Right.
meditated for 10 years
Right.
straight and ain't nothing happened to me, so meditation is
Right.
bullshit. It may be bullshit to you. However, when we're dealing with the regression or the relinquishing of attachments, right? Because there's a
Yeah.
part of reality that says that I'm not gonna not be a man. I'm not gonna not be a
Yes.
black man. I'm not gonna not, be a father. However,
Yep.
in my meditation, I am none of those things.
Yep.
In my dream world, I'm none of those things. I rarely see my children in my dreams. I rarely see my wife in my dreams, but I see them
Yep.
all the time. So it's like my love for who I am, right,
Yep.
internally is a different type of love versus the love that I have externally. However, there has to be some understanding of those two things,
Yes.
and that's kind of where I was at with what you were saying.
Yep. Yep. That sounds
Peace,
like it.
Prime. We have to talk. So at a certain
Yes.
point,
Yeah, man.
I'll kind of reach out to you or you reach out to me, but we definitely have to talk about some things, okay?
Yep.
All right. Peace and love, man. I appreciate you so much.
Likewise. Peace, brother.
Peace, man. Rod, you want to wait to the end?
It's up to you, big boy.
I'm gonna wait.
I just wanted to say peace and let you know I was here, and I love you and I miss you, and I holler.
Come on, man. I ain't dead, nigga. I'll save you for the end, fam. Okay. All right.
We good.
Stay on.
We good.
Yeah, Yada was good.
Hello.
Peace.
I just wanted to, come in and say thanks because your message today was really hitting. I wanted to say thanks to Sasha, the dropping knowledge. Thanks to everybody who's tapping in. That's about it,
Yeah, man. Thank you for tapping in and giving that, man. Where you calling out of? You in Japan or something, man?
Just that particular taste. I'm in Brooklyn.
You in Brooklyn? Right. You tapped into another level of primordial energy. That's all.
Yeah, for sure. Yata.
Huh?
Yata.
What's that? Yata. Okay, Yata. Yata. Everybody dropping their corrections on me. I receive it all. Because,
No doubt. I'm only sharing it because I actually care about your opinion. I don't want you to mispronounce my name. I want you to call me.
Nah, but this taps in. I'm going to share something with you because Yata is also a past life reception energy that I've been receiving, but is more of the realms of Rata. Okay. Now, Rata is a spiritual leader who invaded Egypt and taught them all about pyramid making and, everything Atlantean. So everything that you know about Egypt is based upon the energy of the Atlantean Rata. So I'm saying that's not far off from energy that I identify with. So it was probably some past life energies to where, we was partners or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or we just coming up in that same lineage or that same naming. Because I'm going to tell you something else. I have like a imaginary energy that I just always had called Rata. And it was like a rap group that I had in my mind. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from, but
I do. I do. When you have your crew.
Yeah, I had a crew. I had a whole crew of niggas. So yeah, it just makes sense. So yeah, I'm with you. And I got the pronunciation down.
Yeah, for sure, man. Last time I called probably I tapped in 2 months ago or a month ago. I was still in school and I've just been, working on understanding and being understanding in myself and others as the reflection of myself. And I was just working on doing that and getting the blessings is for real. And I've become more appreciative of other people. And,
you seeing people as yourself. You seeing the reflection of yourself and other people, because that's very important, because you're very divine. So the only way you ever gonna be able to see yourself is through seeking other people. I heard a term. It's called empathetic narcissist, where you empathize with other people and you see the divine in other people so deeply that you become almost in love with them. Or you know what I'm saying? But you really in love with the part of yourself that you see within them. So be mindful of it, but it's a real thing. And listen to some Brent Fayez too. That boy, the truth.
Yeah, he's nice. I found him. I haven't listened to him in a minute.
Yeah, that's where I got that from though. What you just said reminded me of that.
That's what's up. What's up. Well,
yeah, man.
Just wanted to say thanks.
Yeah, man. Thanks for tapping in. Shout out to Brooklyn Zoo, man. Hold it down, fam. For real.
They literally protested on my block. I was like, I will be okay as long as it's not outside, and it's outside. But it's all right.
Yeah, it come and go like everything else. We thought the corona was gonna last forever. People don't even know corona. What? Huh?
I forgot about it.
What's that?
Forgot about 5G. Like
everything going out the window. So we know how humans is. So let's just act accordingly from now on. Like they'll jump on the bandwagon like that. So fuck it.
Yeah, no doubt. We tapping in. We tapping
We
in.
tap it. Hold on. We ain't going nowhere. We tapped in, fam.
All right.
We tapped it. Much love, y'all. Much love, your time.
I'm from Brooklyn and I'm Haitian. Yo.
Yeah, that's Ra right there. Ra from Brooklyn. Ra from Brooklyn, and he Haitian too. So there you go.
No. Love to everybody.
Love, bro. Love. We tapped.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick around, see what everybody has to say, because I like to listen. And,
for sure, for sure. We about to tap into Black Widow Divine. Or no, you next, Black Widow. First, we gonna tap into the November Mage. What's good? Oh, day.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Hello, fam. I'm just
Peace.
tapping in, and well, no, like I said, I was just pulling one of my little genie moments, tapping in, appearing and everything, and just wanted to really talk to you because you did hit on a topic, because I had a spiritual encounter the other day when you was mentioning, about the card that you was mentioning, about with that energy, that just based off New Orleans, because everyone know I love my home. I'm not from New Orleans, but I am from Louisiana, and I do, love that energy life that a lot of us are,
home.
Yeah. getting into and don't realize that that is exactly who we are. And as you were saying with the Atlantis energy, and you really just touched my heart. A lot of times, people look at that as if it's bad, and just on a personal 3D level, sometimes when people understand that philosophy and understanding that that is your ancestors and your DNA, and it's like here, the church has made us look like, you know, goblins and demons and you know what I'm saying, and things
100.
like oh right, like whoa, stay away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been, and I'm just being transparent with the family,
Sure.
just letting people know that aspect for those that don't understand what it was that you were showing on the screen, and trying to show them what is exactly who they are, whether if you are from New Orleans or from Louisiana, and the way how you was breaking down the grids and this energy, and how it lies, to our nation, with our people, that is something that they have used mind control about to make us not tap into who we are, by giving this stigmatism of it's darkness, it's
Mm-hmm.
bad, it's stay away,
Mm-hmm.
oh, don't go there. And that is something, just having a heart to heart, since I'm a part of this community, that,
Right.
dealing with those emotions of looking at our people, like you said, when you actually sort of, 'cause the way how my eyes are, I sort of, this is how my brain works, well, my spirit works. I sort of have a way of where I'm able to look down and see the masses, just like what you was breaking down, and you understand the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what's going on, but you're just looking from that third eye point of view. You have no judgment, no emotion, but can you be honest and say just a tad part of you, just do a sort of be like, have that empathy to be like, damn, and that they
Mm-hmm.
don't really understand what's going on. And that's where my heart chakra comes in at, to at least be able to be like, okay, let me speak, let me say something, because there's something about that damn little empath energy
Mm-hmm.
that makes you, want to speak when you're like, like you said earlier, you gotta say something, whether if
Mhm.
it's received, whether if it's not, but just that whole energy draw, because we all are connected to be like, hey, this is what's going on.
Right.
And the way that they're trying to tell you is not bad. This is actually who you are, and to come to the point of understanding of that and accepting that. And I share my struggle because I come from a family who knows who they are, but chose to be automatons.
Right.
It's
Right. Right.
like
Yeah. Some
that was
people. Yeah. Some people made that choice.
yeah, but and I just want to say this out of encouragement, because of a lot of us, we use the terms black sheep. I am one. I raise my hand, raise both of my hands. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And would turn cartwheels of being a black sheep of my family, because sometimes you do have that pressure of like, man, and sometimes I contemplate myself, no joke, like, damn, am I the only one? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, am I the only one, when I know that but why am I the only one that's actually coming out and saying this? Just like when I dropped in the chat, because Dreamwise the other day, he was sharing the message about mask off, and I was sharing that that's a spiritual deeper meaning to me,
Mhm.
because that's what I've been dealing with my ancestors, like,
Mhm.
pull the mask off. But then I'm like, look, well, damn, ancestors, if I pull the mask off, you know what I'm saying? Like you guys, like, I guess the word I can safely say is programmed. They correct me if I'm wrong, because I do respect your spiritual downloads and feedback. That's why we're having this conversation.
Mhm.
But I'm like, well, if this is what I was programmed to do, which I understand, for safety, because I do understand the trickster spirit, and especially in the South, people don't understand that they are quite aware, but you are coded just like everything that you hit on, to
Mhm.
just be the puppet master. you know, this is how we're going to survive, because we went through slavery. And when they identify who we are, this is what you do. And because a
Mhm.
lot of people think that the South is just dumb and stupid.
True.
No, we're not.
True.
It's because, unlike the rest of the regions, they at least downloaded a sense of, like, like you said,
Memory.
family, survival, right? And so they just made a different type of program for offsprings like me and generations to be able to be like maneuver, get into corporate America, just like the 48 laws of power, act like them but not be one of them, so
Mhm.
that is the programming that I've been on. And as you said, a lot of people on the outside don't understand, because when you listen to the conscious community, they're like, oh, you're selling out, you're being an Uncle Tom. You can
Mhm.
know the energy of an Uncle Tom, and like you said, the difference between a puppet master.
Right. Right.
So,
Right. Right. Right.
and it's like right now, uh, paradigm shift. So
Mhm.
now I'm just sitting up here like, what the fuck? Like the what I did know,
Mhm.
worked and was acceptable, but it's like, well, damn, the game done changed up.
Mhm.
Like, what the fuck do I do now?
Mhm.
So I'm just at that. I don't know if anyone else is, and like I said, I just wanted to have a convo with you, because,
Sure.
like I said, for the longest, I do think thankful for social media, because now we are able to be connected and build communities and stuff like that. So now, actually being connected to the communities, it's like, well, yo, what do we do next? Like, and I'm not talking about those that don't. And this is no shade, not for those that are still finding themselves or understanding, because I'm not on that path. But for those that really just understand, it's like, what I'm just sitting back pondering, like what do we do next? Like,
Mhm.
do we continue down our path of being the puppet master and doing what we do. But I can't lie to you, spiritually, after a while, I don't know how you feel, but for me, like I said, I just had my 41st birthday on May 18th, and I'm like, that's just getting old now. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? It's like it's sort of getting old, and I'm out of frustration to where it's like my next decades to come, I want to be me. And when this corona hit and everything happened, I'm like, man, is this a sign, ancestors, that you guys are telling us that we can take the mask fucking off now? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And just walk. Not saying never walked in full power, but walk in full power with the mask off. And I just wanted to get your, input on that,
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, there's so many people telling you to take your mask off, but I'm real smart. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm not about to take my mask off. Like, but you was connecting with the riots and you understand what's going on. I'm gonna take my mask off for you. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you gonna get me killed? Fuck that shit. I'd rather just, you know what I'm saying, look at this shit from a third eye point of view. You got me fucked up. Excuse me for cursing, but
No,
you know what I'm
you're
saying?
fine.
But I have been in that dilemma of
Mm-hmm.
like, cause like you said, they say this,
Mm-hmm.
and the elders are wise because, as you said, it's been this sense of like, hold back, because as you said, those have been traps, lack of knowledge, emotionalism, and it's like, and man, you hit on that, not understanding the true definition of the Christ chakra, because they're looking at Jesus and thinking that you're supposed to sacrifice yourself and go put a bomb on yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
thinking that that you done did some type of righteous justice duty. Like, no, in my mind, excuse me if I offend anybody, but I'm like, that shit was stupid, because
Mm-hmm.
now you dead. And what and how are you still making a difference? Because them motherfuckers gonna still go on,
Right.
you don't shoot yourself, and they still trucking, they still being ignorant. So I just wanted to just ask you,
Mm-hmm.
just because that is the dilemma that I'm in, on just how you feel about that, since
Sure.
we call in to get combo and connect with the like minds. But
Indeed.
that's really been on my heart right now, watching all this aftermath and wondering, what does what do I have to do, because I've been floating in genie energy, but I'm like,
True.
sometimes I been in my little bottle. Sometimes I come out, sometimes I don't. But then
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it gets bored after a while, you know.
Right.
So it's like, what do you do?
Right. For me, it's like having a goal or having a vision and going for that vision or goal. And in order for me to accomplish anything in this life, I have to take that mask off. I have to tap into something larger than myself. And for me, I've had to do a lot of studying and things of that nature. And at a certain point, I was studying the people who was studying stuff, and I was just realizing that, oh, they don't have these powers. They can only observe these powers. Well, then who has these powers? And not to say that I have like superpowers or something like that, but the reality is that I began to speak to myself in a particular way that allowed me to either prove it to myself or disapprove it to myself. And when you have the ability to speak to your DNA and to begin to program your life, you need to do that. Because if you don't do that, then other people are programming your life for you. So with that being said, I can get into what they saying or what they doing or whatever the case may be, and I can even absorb it and see where they points is at. But there's a threshold within my being that says you're paying this too much attention. Let it go. And then I followed that because it's like I get it. I get everything that people saying. And I'm empathetic to the point of seeing it, but then not understanding it. Me not understanding it, I have to understand it. Whether it's through the dream world, I'll bring my wife along in the dream world with me. We gonna investigate some shit. We gonna figure some shit out. And we're going to figure it out to the point that we'll never get to the point where it's like, oh, we got it. We know everything there is to know. But we somewhat satisfied in our
Right.
connection of understanding
Time travel.
particular.
I'm gonna go all the way. I'll do my research. I feel you, facts.
Yeah. Yeah.
But go ahead. I'm sorry. I was
No,
just
that's
co-signing
cool.
what you
That's
said.
cool.
Like, yeah.
You know, it's just more or less of just understanding everything that's happening and okay, why are you talking about that? Why is this coming up? Why are you thinking about this? Oh, I had this dream and this is what happened in the dream. You know, and then certain people might ask you a question and then you might get an answer that you didn't necessarily, it didn't come from you, but you could have made it up, but it feels right. Like the situation that I was just saying earlier about my wife and the girl asking like what to get my wife. I didn't know what to say, but the thing that I came up with
I'll peep that.
that felt right. You know, that felt right. That felt honest. And your honesty is gonna come when you need it. However, you gotta be authentic within yourself, 100%. And if you dealing with what other people say, especially now, whether they black people, whether they women, whether whatever the race is, you're gonna be confused because a person can't even speak to you, right? They can only speak to themselves. You can't speak to them. You can only speak to yourself. Like yourself. If you just think about that word cells, you can only speak to yourselves. You can only create your life. That's all you can do. And because of this, people are lost, right? Because you waiting for somebody, not you, but it could be a degree of waiting for something else to happen when you are the awareness. You are the thing that people study, right? You are the double X gene. Everybody is trying to suppress your energy by not telling you who you are. You are sensual, you are dominant, you are celestial, you are graceful, you are in tune with the universe. And if you're going to suppress that, you're not doing me no favors and you're not doing yourself no favors. If you absorbing what other people saying, you're not doing me no favors, you're not doing
Right.
nobody else no favors. If you are projecting and expressing your divinity through dance, through sensuality, and through what God, like, now I'm not gonna say what God gave you, what you gave yourself, right? You gave yourself this energy. Everything that you have, you've created. And that creation isn't over because, you know, niggas want to riot or whatever the case may be. Matter of fact, it might be times 10 now because out of order, out of chaos comes order, right? So order your steps, order your life, begin to create your world and don't absorb what people have to say contrary to what your soul says. If your soul's saying listen, listen. But if your soul's saying cut that shit off, you know? That's what I would say.
Yeah, and just to hop in, yeah, no, you actually answered a lot of questions, and just to be transparent, my situation was really not dealing with the absorbing, but the answers that you said really confirmed because the ancestors have been kicking my ass. And that's what I have been like going through when you said to basically like present yourself, and to basically just show who we are, because this is the guilt that I carry, and I know I'm in a community where I can share that. It's like as we grow different stages, you know what I'm saying, there is a reason, we are connected to DNA and our lineages, and there are things that, being part of this generation, even though we try to dismiss the 3D, but in the celestial world, there are things that the ancestors built, based upon wealth of generations, and you can even see that in the Bible with Abraham. He didn't do what he do. He didn't did what he did because it was the fact for his generation and lineage to be, blessed and to be free in who we are. And so I've been tapping into the ancestors and then getting that finger shaking at me, like where they just been like, nigga, we ain't go through all this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We ain't go through all of this that we went through for you guys not to be here to, and when I say be free, I don't want it to get misconstrued with the Black Lives Matter and all this Black power shit that they're talking about. But like you said, celestial, just being able to be here on this earth, as you said, dominate, walk in your powers and your true essence. And you know what I'm saying? And they didn't really go through that path, for us because that's what they went through. And as you said, a lot of things you're hitting on the head because people are just like with the other young lady that first caller said, people are stuck in the past when our ancestors are telling us it's time to move forward. Like, why did they, come down here and plant the soil, and be Kalima and do all these things to rip up all of that shit that they know that they were trying to suppress us under for us to still be in the old paradigm. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just
The November Mage. Are you with it still?
I'm here.
Peace.
I'm here.
Peace to
Hey,
you.
peace.
How's everything?
I'm chilling. How are you?
Doing great. Can't
That's
complain.
good. That's
Hello,
good.
can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you. You had went out.
I'm sorry, my thing stopped. Did it stop or did it cut off? I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it cut off real quick.
My apologies.
You're good.
My thing be tripping, but I said I was just like I said with that, it was just more of like I said, just expressing my heart space, just trying to figure out how are people, comfortable with just, being, who they not saying that I'm not comfortable with me, just to try to know who you are,
Mm-hmm.
but
And it's a little breaking up. It's a little choppy. Black Widow Divine. It's a little choppy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's going in and out real bad. And I kind of
It's
got what
a
you said that you were coming from the heart and you are really trying to project who you are and project your authentic self.
me. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm having a bad connection.
it's a bad connection right now, unfortunately. So yeah, I was just gonna say maybe you can hear this and maybe the other people can hear this, is that part of this journey is by being authentic and being true to your impulses to a way that your impulses feel right and you actually think about them. An impulse that's just simply an impulse without any thought is that can be like a real tragic
Just
type of
yeah,
situation.
it can cause a lot of bad stuff. You're
Right, but
right.
if you have internal promptings presently, it's really important to follow them in some way or some form or fashion. Begin to invest in yourself, begin to even laugh, because the energy has been so serious recently that, can you laugh at yourself, or not take yourself so seriously, tap into something pleasurable, something that makes you smile versus things that make you frown, because our experience and our ancestors are in that space. They will be perpetually in that space. This whole shit could burn to a fucking crisp. I'm sure your ancestors will be in a celestial tree fucking drinking moon juice and laughing about some shit.
Yeah, those
Like
are my people.
look at
Yeah,
them,
baby.
look at the whole world burning. Pass that moon juice, nigga. Like, like they don't care. Okay, so when we pull on our ancestors in times of sadness, not to say that they can't deal, but the thing that helps me is that I submit once I'm feeling any type of real stress or drama. I submit and I project what I'm feeling. And generally, what I project is not status quo. It goes against what everybody is saying, but I gotta really trust my ancestors as they push me through like these navigational ways that run counterintuitive to what everybody is saying, even within the spiritual community. So with all of that being said, be your authentic self, Black Widow Divine, even if it's gonna make people feel uncomfortable, because I think the world would rather see you be authentically pleased with yourself and with your ancestors than you trying to make us feel comfortable.
Well, thank you for that. And with that, I'm going to end because that's all the confirmation I needed to hear. Because as you said, sometimes you crack jokes, and because I didn't understand what was going on, like I'd be like, "Well, you've heard me crack that joke. You heard me say like, damn, nigga, you banging on bacon. Like, come on, it's not that serious." And then people look at you like. Like you like you wrong. So thank you for that, because that was a dilemma I was dealing with, because I'm just like, I don't like causing any type of harm or any type of confusion. That's the empath in me. So I just sort of step back in life out of respect for
But
people's
let me throw
space.
something at you real quick. Even when you're
Right.
trying to acquiesce to people's needs, what happens? They begin to be confused. They don't know how to take you. And look at you trying to be nice, be Mr. Nice Girl. So the idea is that you're not going to make other people happy. The only person that you guaranteed to make happy is yourself. So put energy into that, because you'll get dividends. And then following your spiritual prompts and dealing with energies that your spirit is telling you to deal with, this is all it's about. And doing the things that your spirit allows you to do. There was particular times where my spirit allowed me to do things that if I was to do it right now, I'd be pulled over and arrested and thrown under the jail. But sometimes your spirit say, you good, you got a pass for 30 days, go crazy. And then once that 30 days up, you just kind of revert back into your old little self. It's like we just have these sides of us that we have to begin to honor. And we honor them by simply saying we don't know what they are. Let us learn ourselves. Because say for instance, you're like, well, it's Black Lives Matter and black people is getting killed. Well, then that's the ascertainment that I just made that shit up, but it sounded good. That is the ascertainment that you know everything that it is to be what it is to be a black man or a black woman. My idea is that we're still evolving. We're still evolving in our understanding of our history, our legacy, our abilities, our birthrights, our sovereignty, our capacity to love. All of these things are up for grabs. So when you say they doing this, they might be doing that, but they ain't doing that shit to me. So I mean, that's a real fucked up statement, and I hear myself.
I didn't think that you fucked up when you say that. I'm sorry, I'm just talking shit now, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fucked up statement, but I'm a black man myself, and I've been arrested plenty of times. And do I have to deal with violence from being arrested? Never. It's always respect. And maybe it's me. I don't know what the situations be with these situations. I can't just be like, well, I have to always tell my kids how to be around cops. Like, no, dog. Like, that's not my reality. Like, if a cop disrespects me, you could talk to a cop, you can look a cop in. It's more of being a human being. And if a person want to disrespect your humanity, then you gonna have to deal with that. But you do not perpetuate fear. I'm not about to. Nobody told me in my life, when you get pulled over, Kyrie, make sure you act like this. Okay. It's always been when I have confrontations with perceived authority energies, I tap into the authority within myself and I meet those particular situations head on.
They tell you what to do. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
That's how I am too. Like, like I will channel because you don't know if you go in with a preconception on how to handle something, you just fucked up right there. You're
Yeah.
hitting it on the head, and that's
Yeah.
one thing I can't express to people. You have to go in with the unknowing, and you have to go in with water flow. There's times where cops have pulled me over and like fucked up. Okay, yeah, here's my license registration. I was
Yeah.
speeding. Fuck it, I'm gonna take my leave. But
Yeah.
in times if I know it's like my ancestors were channeling, I'll be like, because people can read energy, and that's when our people are not understanding, and that's why they have this fear. But if you know every job and people be like, oh, they get pushed around. No, you can look in my eyeballs and they know that I know who the fuck I am and I know them. And people will bow down.
100%. This is all the fuck that
You
I'm
just gotta
trying
know
to say.
what to do.
That's all I'm trying to
Right.
fucking say. We've been all through Ohio. Like, we've been all through Ohio, and we've held our energy. You know, like, and Ohio is not one of them places where it's just 99% white people, basically. You know
I'm
what
in
I'm saying?
Nebraska. You ain't gotta explain this
Yeah,
shit.
it's just whatever. And I would be so shocked if a white boy just jumped out of pocket and been disrespectful to me. I'd be just appalled. Like, what the hell is going on? I would literally probably laugh. Like,
you gotta be on drugs because
something wrong with you. Like, what's happening here? Are you okay, Billy? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like
be out here.
Like,
I'm sorry.
Like, if you around unmelanated people, they're not mean to you. If you have knowledge itself, you could be a type of now I can redirect this. When I did not have knowledge itself, right? They were on my ass, right? I was being arrested, right? I was getting thrown in jail. I was getting thrown in prison. And then when I was in prison, I was getting my ass handed to me by the COs. But what was my problem in this? I was a piece of shit, right? I was nothing. Like, I didn't make my bed. I didn't carry myself. I had no sense of awareness of self. I was just unaware. So I just had to get hit so many times to be thinking like, okay, where is my responsibility in this? Because I literally could be looking at white people as my enemy, right? But what is my responsibility in this whole actual thing? I done been to prison, right? I done been racially profiled, okay? As a young man. And I still take 100% responsibility. And that's just me. And a white person ain't never done nothing to me that I never, I gave them the permission. Because I had no knowledge of self. Now as I navigate throughout this matrix, you navigate with a particular knowledge of self, to which is Billy. Like, chill, fam. Like, you
like, come on, Billy.
You really outside of yourself.
Man,
you
Billy,
know what I'm saying?
Right. Like, let's not do right.
Yeah, we're
you
not
hit
doing
it on
this.
the head and just explain to the audience that may not know what we're tapping into. Just to put it in human words. Yes, that's what I've been trying to express to even the Black people out here. Like, when you tap into who you are, because they already know who the fuck we are, these motherfuckers will bow down and worship you. Sometimes I be having to be like, man, look, hey, take a break. They feel like paparazzi. Like, look, I don't want to have, and I guess people over the world is not seeing that. And because I know you hit it on the head, they're not tapping into who they are because they know who we are, and that energy will shift because it will really be where the first shall be last and the last shall be first, and they'll really be at your feet. And I'm just being 1,000 kissing your ass. I'm not being
Nah, this is just the time. No. But this is the
to
time
get
for which we were
misconstrued.
born for. We were born here. We were born in this time for a particular.
And we're not selling our souls. They know exactly. They know who we are. I'm
We
sorry,
just don't know. We just don't know who we are.
really
So the
do
point
that.
of these conversations is just to remind people who we are. You know what I'm saying? And That's what I'm getting on here to talk about. Every time y'all get on these lives, it's always going to revert back to you, no matter what. And I appreciate you, Black Widow Divine. It's something that we'll have to continue, and hopefully you can hear what I was saying, and really hone into your authentic nature and begin to produce it, because it is that of a divine cloth, right? But the general consensus is that it has to be shown and seen. It has to be felt. But first, feel it within yourself, and then we'll be here for it, okay?
You're right. And I'm gonna let you go because I don't want to hold up the line. But thank you for that,
No
because, like I
problem.
said, you do be in that dilemma when you know, and when you're around people that don't know. I don't want to cause any more confusion. So I have been being sensitive, with speaking and sharing things, because you can't blame me for being sensitive towards our people, because
Mm-hmm.
that's our DNA, and my people come first. Fuck everybody else,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And hopefully they feel that same way towards you, at the end of the day.
All right, well, I'm gonna let someone else go. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad to tap in,
For
and
sure.
peace to the fam,
Peace.
and much love, everybody.
We'll tap in again. For
All
sure.
right,
Peace.
bet. Bye.
Yo,
What's good?
what's good?
Chilling.
I want to start off by saying Prime out here looking like a whole guru.
I've been telling people.
Guru, looking and sounding like a whole guru.
Uh-huh.
Tell you
Uh-huh.
what. I
He
tell you what.
don't even know it though. He the hidden guru out here, but
Oh, but he gonna know though. He know.
he gonna
He
get
knows
there.
to feel it. It's undeniable.
It is.
But no, I'm gonna keep it short, because basically, what Black Widow Divine just said, and then what Asha said, it really like hit on what I had to say. And then even going back to when you were talking about either being the puppet or the puppet master, it's like, what I'm saying. I don't personally think that it's either one or the other. I think that we as humans, if we go off of what Black Widow said, we have to be able to go back and forth if we're going to be able to really to live in this matrix. Because I mean, we are physically here. You know what I'm saying? We're physically here. Although I know me personally, I'm in my own world. Like, I can remember, so I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, more specifically, the Ferguson, Florissant area. So, and I had just gotten out of the military maybe a year or two. No. It was several years before then. But at any rate, I was still really tied to my St. Louis roots and stuff like that. So when Mike Brown happened, like I was real charged, and I was a cop in the Air Force, you know what I'm saying? And so it was like, it's a little different from civilian police, but you still law enforcement, whatever. And so I was like, really, like, I felt my whole world like shatter, like like how I knew myself to be. You know what I'm saying? Because even when I got out of the military, I was still doing armed security and was thinking about being a cop on the civilian sector, like that sort of thing. But it was like, so then when I saw the Mike Brown stuff happen, and then me being from St. Louis, and then me being, Black, and then this, that, and the third, it was kind of like, damn, like my whole perception of myself was shattered. You know what I'm saying? And so then I had to go through this process of figuring out who I was again, because I couldn't possibly allow myself to be associated with this identity of this, law enforcement perspective. And they're sitting up here doing this to my people, especially to my people in the area that I grew up in, And so then not too long after Mike Brown happened, I think it was maybe a year or two, then Freddie Gray happened. I was living in Baltimore when that happened, so I'm out here marching, and protesting, I'm making calls, I'm doing all this other type of stuff, and constantly also working in a predominantly white area, you know what I'm saying, as working for the government, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm having to be around these white people that don't understand this and the third. And when I tell you that the immensity of that energy of feeling that push and that pull, it literally almost killed me emotionally. Like for real. My emoticons, I made that up. It just felt right.
It felt right.
It just literally, you know what I'm saying? It just literally, like, it literally almost killed me emotionally. I was going to work angry and popping off at white people, mad, you know, this, that, and the third. And then, you know, I really started with my, I think you said we can be awake but not conscious. What was that? What was that statement that was made?
Somebody else said that where we could be.
Asha
said we could be awoke but not really conscious.
Right. So then I started to wake up, you know, but I still wasn't fully conscious. So like when Sandra Bland happened, by then I was like waking up, but I wasn't quite conscious. So I was still pissed off. I was still posting stuff on social media, getting my energy all wrapped and embroiled and all that crap that was going on or whatever. My friends were too, this, that, and the third, but I was still kind of like, you know, keeping it in check, you know, because I was waking up. So I knew it was other forces, other energies at play. But at the same time, I was still holding on to that humanity side of that emotional side, that duality side, you know what I'm saying? And so it was hard for me to like balance the two. But then you fast forward another couple of years now where I feel like I am awake and I'm also conscious, you know what I'm saying? And so now it's kind of like I have a few friends, you know. Now, mind you, in the between it here, my friend sphere has completely changed. Like I don't have any of the same friends that I used to have back then. And I did some rituals to remove all of those old energies so that I could get to where I needed to be consciously unhindered. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I have a couple of friends, one in particular, like her emotions are just like, and when I think about the fact that everything is me pushed out, I'm like, damn, that used to be me, like emotions all over the place. Like as soon as something happened on the news, I'm just like humdrum, or as soon as any little bitty thing happens, you know what I'm saying, in my life, it's like, oh my God, you know, woe is me. And so sometimes I look at this person and I'm like, God damn, you get on my nerves. And then I think and I stop and I'm like, you know what? God damn, that used to be me. You know, so it becomes a time for me to be able to kind of reflect on how far I've came. And then I have this other friend, you know, who's very well educated, you know, very, you know, she's black, you know, she's very well educated and she's very well successful and things like that, moving in this white sphere of, you know, reality or whatever. And it's like, but she's still very much into, you know, black consciousness, you know, and black women this and black women that. And then I'm just thinking to myself, like, I used to be her too. I became that person after I was the other person who was constantly thrown to and fro by my emotions. So then I look at her and I'm like, well, I used to be there too. And like now I'm at the point to where you can't say, oh, I don't see color or anything like that, because of course I'm not colorblind. But it's just like I don't exist in that reality no more.
Yeah.
Like people don't try me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go to work in my predominantly white government job. I say whatever the hell I want to say. Okay, and I get the utmost respect. And when some white male comes in, and one did that was new to my team, came and tried to challenge me, my white female supervisor was like, I'm gonna need you to apologize to her. Like I don't, and I think it goes back to what Black Widow was saying. Like when you have a mindset of you knowing who you are, like people can't fuck with you. They just can't, and they can't fuck with you because it's not even a vibration that you put out there that you're fuck wittable. Like it's just, it doesn't even
it's a vice versa to that though too, where you are putting out all of the feels that I'm fuck wittable, fuck with my emotions, take my emotions and distort them and do weird shit with them. What did you say about black people? Is you talking about me? Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Me. You know what I'm saying? Feed off of me, feed off of my energy. You know? And some people put that out there. They don't realize it. You know, so I said all that to say, then, you know, everything happens with George Floyd or whatever. And of course, I'm in a little text message group with these two friends that I just discussed. And I realized that I hit another plateau, and it's like, because I don't know what to say. Like if like Black Widow said, if I be like, man, y'all tripping and y'all sitting up here letting these people feed off y'all energy, and you know what I'm saying, when you need to be worrying about, you know, your next move, this, that, and the third, while these energies are while all this energy is at play, like you said, energy don't care who tap into it. So all this chaos energy that's going on right now, you could be tapping into it, really making some shit work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they can't see us because they too wrapped up with those emoticons. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I like I said, I feel like I hit a plateau because it's like I didn't know what to say to them, because you don't want to offend them, you don't want to make them feel dumb. But then all of a sudden, at the same time, it's like my insecurity side kind of came back, and it's like you don't want them to feel like, oh, you're not down for the cause type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So I was talking to my wife,
100%.
and I was talking to my wife, and I was like, you know, I don't know what to say, because I know if I say this, which is really what I really want to say, you know, this one friend is gonna be like da 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 da, and we can't be friends no more, and this, that, and the third. And it was like, not that I care that much about maintaining the friendship, because I almost feel like the friendship is kind of dead anyway, because we clash on our perceptions, especially for me feeling like somebody she's supposed to be so woke, you know what I'm saying, and yet I can see the evidence that she's not conscious, but she wouldn't understand that if I told her anyway. You know what I'm saying? And so like, what do you do? So I had then to reach into my empathy, like Asha and Black Widow said, and I was just like, you know what? I'm glad that you felt comfortable enough to express how you truly felt.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had to leave it at that. And then I just stopped responding in the group or whatever, because you can't help people. Like, you can only help people so much. You can only open their minds to so much, and then they have to be willing to get it whenever they get to that step in the process. And you can, you know, send out the energy that they will get there, you know, and then hopefully they'll be looking at it like I'm looking at it now, like, damn, that used to be me, and that used to be me, and you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And it's hard to empathize with a person 100% because I don't know what's going on in their mind what would act them to be that way. And of course, it's like what I've realized about my past is that I was just deeply, deeply ignorant, you know. And until a person is able to admit that about their actual spiritual path, because it's another pathway to say I know everything, right? Even if I'm learning, and it becomes like I learned this new thing, but I learned it, now I know it, just like I know everything else, you know. So it just becomes badges of honors for your ego. This actual energy that I'm referencing is more of like learning yourself, you know. And I keep saying that, where if a person knows that they're a quote unquote black woman or a quote unquote black man, like they know it, right, without a shadow of doubt. I know it based upon how people are going to label me, but internally I can't say for 100% that I am what a person's perception of me is. I might say, and this is just my internal conversation, maybe I am who I say I am, and that's the end of it, right? And this is just my evolution, and because of that, I've been brought into an Atlantean frame of mind. Now, is that the end all be all? I don't know, but it make more sense than this black shit to me. To me, you know what I'm saying? And to the next person, it might be I'm black and I'm proud, and that's just what it is for them. And that's why I say it's like I can empathize but so much, because even my inception is that of education and learning. Is never my inception is I'm going to learn this and know it and tell people about themselves based upon shit. So I don't be dissing the Moors, but it's like you can't tell me I'm a Moor because you don't know my ancestry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's personal as hell.
Right. And then it's all that, you know, that duality and stuff. Like I can't sit here and say that I know that spirit is genderless, and then sit up here and say, or say that spirit is, and I know that I'm spirit, that I am consciousness, you know what I'm saying? So I am a piece of that, and we're all pieces of that. I can't sit up here and say, you know, and it's crazy to even think about it like mentally, because it's like Prime was saying in the conversation we had, like when you go from saying, okay, I am this name, and then I am, you know, this nickname, and then when I just stop and I just say I am, like the vastness of thinking about the fact that we are all a part of consciousness, and consciousness is genderless and raceless and colorless, and it just is. And I know that I am a part of consciousness. How can I walk around here saying, oh, I'm a black female, I'm a this, I'm a that? I mean, I know physically this avatar that I'm inhabiting, you know what I'm saying, is I have a vagina and I have breasts, and I know that my skin is like a tannish light tan color. I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, when you really start, and like my mind feels like it's gonna explode right now. It's like when you really sit up here and you think about like the vastness of I am, like you just transcend that duality, those boundaries. You know what I'm saying? And you move into the space of I'm unfuckwittable, like because I am. Because you doing something to me is you doing something to you. Like you just, and all of that negative energy that energy that used to attract that energy, it just goes away.
Right. And really, I'm going to tell you, because the one thing that when I'm traveling in these spaces, it may be the thought occurs that, you know, I'm 200 miles outside of the city. It's just me and my wife. You know, we literally surrounded, you know. So the idea would be, say, for instance, I come across a confrontation and a person wants to bring harm to me, even to the point of killing me. I have to actually think through that. So as a black man, you got to actually think through, basically with the programming, you got to actually think through being murdered. Right. And so I've thought it through, and I've gotten to a point where a person can't even want to kill me because they don't even want to feel my energy like that. They don't want to see me outside of this body. It's actually better for them to keep me alive and not kill me, because the like, I'm just imagining the shit that I'ma just do to his whole fucking family. You understand? From a spiritual, I'm starting to tear people's heads off and eat them very slowly, like nibble on their goddamn fingers.
I'm laying generational curses
all day. I'm not. It's going to be so bad for everybody in your whole life that, you know, just forget I even exist, fam. Just kind of skip over me, because you do not want these problems. My imagination is thick, and I'll put that shit on your ass.
Yep, that's your best bet. And I think that's a part of, like, people think, oh, you're not supposed to think like that, you know, blah, blah, blah. But when you really integrate and you let go of that duality, like, I be having some fucked up thoughts. Like, if some of the things that can happen to people that I be thinking about, that I can feel like I can do with my mind to you, if you just keep pressing my buttons, like, you don't really want to go there. You don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You might want to go have a V8. You might want to do that.
Yeah, you might want to have a V8, take your dog on a walk. Like, it's so much positive things you can do in this life, but bring harm to me.
Breathe,
you know
what I'm saying? You might want to,
deep
you know,
breaths.
let me hook you up with prime harmonic. You know what I'm saying? You can teach you some of these breathing and observing your thought techniques. Because
you do not want these problems, and this is the imagination that I'm putting forth. Now imagine, you know, all of your rappers and all of your politicians, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, having a particular narrative, this narrative for which is the problem for me. And that's kind of what this video is about, kind of speaking to the negative narrative or the negative connotation to ancestors. Like, the connotation is, they keep doing this to this over and over again. Ain't you tired of this? And this, that, and but I'm tapping into a part of me that's billions of years old. And I can remember plenty of lifetimes where it was hell for all types of energies. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I was sitting there eating a goddamn rack of lambs or something, you know what I'm saying, not giving a fuck about the people, you know what I'm saying? So in this lifetime, of course, I'm gonna have some type of karma that I'm gonna have to work through, but it's all tapped into royalty. So once we work through our karma, I'll do you one better. If you have the simplest ignitation, made that one up, that you have a spiritual awareness, right? When you go into your mind, right, and you hear somebody else like, what up, nigga? What you want? Okay, that is spiritual channeling. And I say that because the average person goes into their mind and is nothing, right? I know we can go into our mind right now and have a whole conversation with all types of people, whether it's made up or not. It's a lot of people that can't even imagine a conversation within their head, right? So our psychosis is divine, right? Our whole psychotic nature, what we call manic depressant. You know, the idea though is that they give them drugs, throw them in them straight jackets, and criminalize them in the eyes of the population. But you ever sat and listened to a crazy person just read your ass?
Right.
Read you for all of the filth, and you just so grateful that they crazy and nobody gonna take them seriously, and you go about your life, you know. So
Right. Hopefully taking some of them jewels of wisdom.
hopefully hopefully I got it. Like the remnants, the Healers Lounge said, I named mine. I got a whole, like I said earlier, I got a whole record label in my mind. Y'all don't even understand. Like it gets crazy in this brain of mine. And so this is all imagination and what we can do with it. The problem is they trying to hack our imagination and tell us about our ancestors and then tell us what they can do to us. They can't do nothing to us that we don't allow. And it's a shame that people will accept money for a role. So I'll do you one better. We was talking about earlier about the actors and the musicians and stuff like that. Man, these niggas will come out with a song tomorrow talking about how they killed the nigga. The motherfucking actors will come out with a movie tomorrow about them shooting somebody down. And they wouldn't think twice about it because they getting a check. You wouldn't think twice about it, Denzel shooting a nigga down. You'd be like, oh, that movie was good. However, you don't see the ritualization that's happening before your eyes, especially with this media. So,
right.
It's crazy.
So that's all I had to say. Like, you know, like Asha and like Black Widow said, you know, we still need to practice. I guess it would be maybe compassion or empathy for the souls that are here that aren't where we are. You know what I'm saying? Because we used to be there too. And I think that looking, you know, if we remember that everything is us pushed out and that we are all one collective of the I am at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It'll help us, you know, when we're going into these spaces where we have to deal with these people and their different energies that aren't, you know, that aren't where we are, whether they be sleep, whether they be woke but unconscious, or somewhere in between, you know what I'm saying?
100%. I'm with you. I'm with you. We taking, like I said, it's about being patient and holding space, but not completely just be like, well, everything you hearing on the news is right, so let's just go ahead and march. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be somewhat reserved, but also hold the compassion to understand that maybe what's taking place needs to happen at a spiritual level, whether I agree with it or not.
Right. And I just pose a couple of questions and be like, that's crazy. When was the last time you heard anything about the coronavirus?
That's my shit right there.
You know, or that's crazy that that's going on. When was the last time? I thought this was the last big buzzword event, you know, or be like, man, yeah, I know how the media just be throwing some of us to and fro, you know what I'm saying? We just be eating it up, you know, and then I just walk away like real calmly and just make them think, you know? So that's all I got.
But them is your friends though, so, you know, everybody in my life I don't agree with. The closest people to me, you know, it ain't for the point of me agreeing with them. So that's kind of where I'm at with people too. Like, no pressure.
Definitely.
But thank you.
All right then. Tell Mama Mystic I said what up.
I am. I'm about to go check her out right now.
All right.
So family, I have to take care of some business. I think John is about to kick down my door. So because of that, I'm gonna see what's good with him. Be sure to email me hoodmystic@gmail.com. I'm gonna tap in one more time this week to talk about this upcoming lunar eclipse. Of course, I gotta cover that for the family in the only way that I can. But thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you catch the replay. Listen to the first 45 minutes and we get into the public ritual from my perspective, this is not the end all be all. This is just my contribution. I want to thank everybody in the spiritual community for providing me this space to have these kind of conversations. Beyond that, I just send out mad love and mad positive support for everybody doing whatever they need. Be sure to email me if you need any help with anything, you know what I'm saying? The Slack channel, definite outlet for you to reach out to other spiritual beings, build conversations. Most of the people that was on this chat today had the Slack account. So I'm sorry to the people that I couldn't get to today. I will tap in again on Wednesday and we'll talk about this lunar eclipse. But thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Peace.